Hi everybody! With Mother's Day today, I thought that I would just share a few simple tips and tricks for decorating plain fairy cakes. You'll find a recipe on my website for any flavour fairy cakes, and these are just a few simple ideas to make decorating them super fun and super easy. Okay, the first decoration I'm going to show you is here I have some greaseproof paper on a baking tray. I've drawn out some hearts, and here I have a little bit of some melted chocolate that I just melted 8 squares of chocolate in the microwave. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to try to do a little basic heart shape with a spoon. Okay, now these do not have to be super tidy because they look amazing even when they're not really that fancy. Whoopsie daisies. Now, what I can do as well is leave them plain or add a few sprinkles. I'm going to pop those into the freezer and we'll be back in a second with the next decoration. Okay, number 2. So we have our fairy cake here. This is a plain vanilla fairy cake from my Any Flavour Fairy Cakes recipe on my website. I'm just going to chop the top off this one. Put this in half. This is the classic butterfly bun. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of buttercream. The buttercream is made from 50 grams of butter with 100 grams of icing sugar beaten in. A little bit of that. A little bit of some jam. This is some homemade blackcurrant jam, but you can use whatever jam you like. And then we'll pop these back on like a little butterfly. Okay? Now, so we get ourselves another one of those vanilla buns. This is a really easy one for small children. All you're going to do is dip your bun into the jam. That's going to be the glue. And then into your coconut for a plain and simple coconut bun. Now, next one on the list, a little bit of plain icing sugar. What I'm going to do is make a little bit of orange icing. I'm going to get an orange, squeeze a few drops into the icing sugar. Give that a little stir. You want to make sure you don't add too much. You really need very little liquid. Now get a little bit more. Now, we'll get our next bun. I'm going to add a little bit of that lovely orange icing, which only takes literally seconds to make, and a few sprinkles then on top. Okay. Next on the list, we are going to do some stencil art. So I have my next bun. I've got here a plain piece of greaseproof paper. I'm going to fold it in half, in quarters, in half again, until I've got a little triangle shape. Then what I'm going to do is make some tiny little cuts. Right from there. This is what I'm just making, a tiny little stencil, and what we're going to do then is just decorate this bun very plainly with some icing sugar on top. Let's hope this works. Haven't done this one in a while. You can buy some of these in shops, but you can have a few goes at making nice stencils. And we fold it out, and we've got a nice little shape. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put that over the bun. And we're going to sprinkle on some icing sugar. You can even add some cocoa to that if you want, to make kind of a chocolatey icing. So I'm going to hold that down over the bun, and we're going to Now, so our buttercream here, 50 grams of butter, 100 grams of icing sugar, and then whatever flavors you want. So I put a little bit of vanilla essence in here, but you can put in orange zest, lemon zest, some cocoa powder, any flavorings you want. You could add a bit of Baileys for the grown-ups. All I'm doing is spreading that on. Now you can use a piping bag if you want, but if you don't have a piping bag, you can just spread it on with a spoon. And then our finishing touch is going to be those hearts that we made earlier. Now, okay, so those hearts have literally been in the freezer for just a couple of minutes, and they are going to peel right off. Ta-da! Isn't that gorgeous?